Alright, so this is technically the fifth video in the series, but that's because I accidentally yapped way too much in the previous one. So this video is about the sexual impact on men of toxic masculinity. So across culture and history, a man's sexual success, which is basically the number of partners he's had, the number of women interested in him, his performance, his endurance, his dominance, the number of children he has fathered, all of these things are markers of a man's masculinity. And so the problem is, fertility and sexuality is given so much priority and so much significance that we sort of forget to acknowledge that there's something after that as well, which is basically we don't think that we don't hold a man responsible to show up for his family, the family that he has created, right? Or to stay present in the child's life, or it that's telling of how distorted this mentality is. Like, we're fine up until, like, oh, he's you know impregnated like five different women, but he's not showing up for these children that he's built or made, whatever. And so yeah, it is distorted thinking, because ejaculation is not hard, everyone knows that, right? It's just the showing up daily, the being reliable, being present. Trying really hard is difficult, and these are all like signs that toxic masculinity can be really, really detrimental. And the thing is, this also shows us that sexual escapades and sexual encounters are considered conquests rather than, it's not about love or connection or pleasure. It's about how many, what is, how many points did I get, kind of. And it's about status, and it's about proof of value, of worth in a man. And yeah, that's why we see so many problems, like objectification of women, because partners are conquests, not people. And then we also see this, like, sort of dissociation from of emotional connection from the person that the man, this toxic masculine man, is connecting with. I have seen this online itself. I've gotten into multiple conversations with men who love to say that they don't need an emotional connection to have sex with a woman the way that women have. And I really, really wonder, actually, is this true, or have we just socialized men to think that this is acceptable? And this is, but in all honesty, this is quite sociopathic. Like, the lack of emotional connection, but like being stuck to a woman or another person is so, it's so intimate. But it's okay if we don't have an emotional connection, really. Come on, I don't know about that. Anyway, so we see, where was I? Okay, so objectification of women, because partners are conquests, not people. And yeah, men want to get that notch on their belt, so we often see examples of, no surprises here, forceful sex, coercion, rape, manipulation, because it's about power play, it's about dominance, it's not about love. It's about achieving or scamming someone into giving, because it's like sort of a transaction, right? And the more that you have, more that a toxic masculine man has, it's like, it's sort of disgusting, really. The more of a man he feels like. And men sort of end up glitching when they hear the word no, because how can a pathetic woman reject him, and that response, that that results in really extreme responses such as rape and also acid attacks. And yeah, that's really fucked up. And interestingly, it feels like when sex is viewed or judged, it is always through the scrutiny of other men. We're not asking women. Even, I feel like, even when men ask me, oh, was I good in bed, He just wants to hear, oh my god, yeah, your cock was massive, and I came like 500 times. That's it. Like, it's not even about the nuance. It's not about these interesting, like, the nitty-gritties, the nuance, the intimacy, the connection. It's not about that. It's just like, give me numbers. Tell me, did I hit the, did I max it out? Did I max you out? Like, was I the best? And it's really not the vibe. We also see homophobia towards the self. A lot of men are like really uncomfortable with their rear end. A lot of men have gay tendencies or gay desires, but they're not able to acknowledge it, and then that becomes distorted as well, because gay sex is just sex, right? But through the distorted lens, it becomes dirty. It becomes sickening. It becomes like wrong. And yeah, because femininity is weakness and vulnerability is humiliating. Okay, and special mention, we hear a lot from women getting the ick nowadays. That this woman got the ick when a man isn't rigidly masculine. This is also an example of toxic masculinity. And the thing is, whether it is consciously on a man's mind, this is always on the man's mind. These burdens are sitting on a man's mind and in his head also. So it also results in a lot of erectile dysfunction, a lot of trauma responses like dissociation, and like robotic, sort of mechanical, you know, sexuality. And it really takes out the humanness of from the act of sex. We also see a lot of mindless hooking up. A lot of men do it, and like I said, men love to claim that they don't need an emotional connection, but that's not true. Why do we see this sort of post-nut clarity so often? Post-nut clarity is guilt. Why do you feel guilty after getting off? Ask yourself this. It's because the act of sex is meant to be an emotionally fulfilling act. So if you're detaching from your body and your heart and your mind and your soul, it's so empty. It's not even an experience that's a spiritual experience. However, you must really acknowledge that. Let's really think about this. Okay, consider this, right? The act of sex is an act of creation. It's a divine act, right? How can that make you feel guilty? How can that make you feel wrong and dirty? It should not. The reason is because we're consciously or unconsciously, continuously detaching from the emotion, detaching from the soul. And that's what makes us feel so disgusting and dirty. However, if you do really connect to your body, yeah, it does hurt sometimes, and yeah, sure, you won't get, you won't feel comfortable to just sort of hook up mindlessly anymore. But maybe that's okay. I don't know. You do you, boo. Yeah, alright. Okay, yes, this is really interesting. Society sort of pressures men to be hypersexual, but at the same time, they're also judging and sort of dismissing and mocking men for being so like perverted and like, why can't they control their urges, things like that. This is also an example of toxic masculinity. Alright. Oh, lastly, men also really struggle to talk about their sexual fears and insecurities and traumas, and that leaves them really, really like isolated and miseducated rather. That's why there's so much porn consumption and like, because we're not having these conversations. These are difficult conversations, and a lot of society is not ready to have these conversations, but they're so important to have that. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Alright, well, if you lasted this long, I just winked. Good on you. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye.